obvious. We got a problem here, and it's more than just Alvin streaming Punisher. When life begins to suck, who's reporting it? Luckily, you got two friends who you won't forget. Coming live for Alvin and Friend on Survival. Laughing non-stop, Gage drops on a cycle. Louder than intrusive thoughts off an iPhone. How they make the world seem bright with the lights off? AFs, it might as well stay up. Lies being told like that dinosaur BS. Magnifying glass to the ground if they don't see us. Having the time, roasting your favorite pizza. Bougie ain't an option, it's the way. Take it to the grave, add moving to the place. You already know when they take the case. Laugh the pain away, it's affirmative.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Affirmative Murder, the mini-sodes. I'm Alvin Williams. Fran, what's going on, my guy?
Not much. What is up? I hope we got some good emails, man.
I believe that the emails will be sufficient and adequate, but that's not up to me. I guess you're the one that has the very harsh system. Yeah. So you will be the judge, but I'm happy with the crop of emails that we have this week and that are coming in. I'm continued to be satisfied and happy with people participating. Again, affirmativemurder@gmail.com. Get those emails in, TFTH, and all of the, at least as a basis, so I know to filter it through to where it needs to be to get it to the right folder, get it to our people to analyze them and, sort through them and everything like that. We have the Santa Claus situation going on. It's just people flipping through folders, envelopes, sorting them, filing them. And filing them away, is that the term, Fran? Yes?
Yeah.
Filing them away and all those proper things. So very happy with what we got going on. TFTH, affirmativemurder@gmail.com. Get them in. We're going to start things off, Fran. This one says, hello, guys. Just a quick warning. This is a bit of a controversial question, and if I'm being a tone deaf asshat, I completely apologize. I think your guys' takes are really great, and I love listening to you talk about this kind of stuff because it's nice to hear your perspective. For instance, I binge-watched Baby Reindeer after listening to a recent episode. That show, man. Fully agree. Baby Reindeer, what a crazy ride. Anyway, I have a question about the man versus bear debate that's going on right now. If you don't know, women are being asked if they would rather encounter a man or a bear while hiking alone in the woods. And women are overwhelmingly choosing the bear. People have big feelings about it, and the online debate has been entertaining. One common theme I keep seeing come up is the claim that this is potentially a racist question. And the argument goes that since Black Americans commit more crime, which is a complete misrepresentation of data, then the question is racist. I personally don't get the comparison. First of all, every single fucklet that spouts this piece of misinformation couldn't be trusted to follow a Jell-O recipe, let alone look up the actual information on the false narrative. Okay, shout out. Yeah, preach, talk, tell it. Second of all, I think they have the wrong idea. The comparison doesn't make sense, but I think I have one that is a better representation. Bear with me. I don't have a comedy drum. Anyway, so here's my question.
Can you read it again? Let's read it again. Take two.
The whole thing?
The bear, bear with me. I have it.
Oh, so take two. Okay. She goes, the comparison doesn't make sense, but I think I have a better one. Bear with me. Nice. Okay. Now, Fran, are you familiar with the man versus bear debate conversation?
We talked about this, right? Did we talk about this before?
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast. I'm almost positive. What are your thoughts on the conversation? And also, I guess first of all, you have to put yourself in the perspective of a woman, because I know what your answer would be.
Am I qualified to answer this question?
We're not qualified at all, but she asked for our perspective, so I'm going to give it. Now, I would say from a woman's perspective, obviously, would you rather be a woman alone in the woods and run across a bear or a man? Now, still give your thoughts, but just also, I don't want you to be like, I could fight a man. I want you to.
Yeah. I would rather run into a bear. I think there are proven tactics that you can use to scare off a bear that I've seen in video.
Yeah.
That you can scare off a bear, and because it's like, okay, well, it's almost like either it's like pick your poison, because like both of them have the potential to
be dangerous,
right? So it's like, all right, well, what's the pros and cons? I would rather come into face to face with a bear who I can probably have a chance to scare off. Mm-hmm. Coming in front face to face with a human, a person who's like, oh no, nothing can stop me from doing what I want to do at this point unless somebody else comes or something else, like authorities or something. And I just would rather take my chances with a bear.
That's the hard part about this debate for me, is that it is putting you in the woods with the worst possible man.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're asking me, would I rather run across a bear or a rapist or a serial killer or something like that, then yeah, I would obviously rather run into a bear, because a bear, whether it's territory, hunger, whatever, like there's a set of circumstances that a bear would attack a person that are somewhat predictable.
Yeah.
The unpredictableness, if that's the word, of man is like what makes this the debate. But at the end of the day, I think I would rather run into a man. You know what I mean? Like, I understand everything that everybody's saying, but like, if you can clack your sticks and the bear will run away, cool. But if the bear decides not to run away, then what? Because in this scenario, you have to go, I don't know the statistics on men, right? And I think that's where you ask if we're qualified to answer. But I go, the odds of me running into a man in the woods and he just is a hiker, I feel like are solid. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like the scenario that we're painting is this wrong turn type of scenario where it's like, I'm ripped up, my clothes are ripped up, I'm desperate, I've been lost in the woods, and would I rather come across a man that could potentially be a hunter or a killer, stalker, serial killer person, or a bear who is an animal that you can't predict? I think it just really speaks more to like the trust of man. I don't know. And
now I'm confused on what the argument is. The argument is, so we don't know what the man is.
We don't know what the man is.
Oh,
what
see,
kind of man?
I was looking at it
the
being
worst
like
man.
The worst person.
No, like it could be the worst man, but it also could just be a hiker with a stick. That's my thing.
I thought the argument was you're running into a
specific type of. Would you rather run into a serial killer or a bear? You obviously would rather run into a bear.
That's how I took the argument.
No.
That's the way I was looking at it. I didn't know we was like, okay, well,
the argument is like any man. Would you? The women are saying, would you?
Okay.
And that's where it's like, I don't know. That sounds kind of crazy. We're not qualified, obviously, to have the conversation in the brain of a woman. But I go, I would rather run into a random man.
Yeah, me too.
Than a bear.
I didn't know that was the argument. I looked at it wrong. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so and that's hard, and I welcome women's opinions, obviously, because women have more experience with like a random man than me. Any random man that might just be like to me, go, hey, what's up, man? I got some extra water in my canteen. To a woman might be dangerous. He might be a completely different man in the presence of a woman that he sees as vulnerable and they could take advantage of. So that's the hard part, where I'm going, as a man, would I rather take my chances against a random man walking in the woods as I'm walking in the woods? It's like he could be a father, a husband, an old man, a kid, I don't know. But to a woman, it's like whatever man you see in that scenario might not be the same man with me as a woman who's alone and in danger. And so that's the hard part, where it's like, I think that's the disconnect men are having, because I think a lot of men are being just completely dismissive and being like, that's dumb. Of course you'd rather run into a human being than a bear. Yeah. And then a lot of women's response is, well, the worst thing a bear can do is like attack you and bite you or whatever, kill you. And I go,
that's the worst thing. Okay.
The worst thing a bear can do, which is like kind of what they're positing.
The worst thing a bear can do is rip you to shreds. That's the worst.
Yeah, it would be. It wouldn't just be like he'd kill you real quick. It would be a horrible thing. That's my thing. It's like I think this conversation is one, dismissive of a bear attack, and also posits a world where you just have to go, as a woman, if I run across a man, he could like sexually assault me and do all these horrible things that have these long lasting effects. And I go,
for sure.
Of course, I have no argument. But a bear attack's pretty fucking bad. Like if you get attacked, have anybody seen The Revenant? Have you people seen The Revenant? It's not like the bear is just going to break your neck mercifully and end your life. He might not kill you. He might maul you and leave you alive, and you have to sit there and slowly die. So of course it's like, for the TikTok of it all and the quick, talking points and conversation cycles, it's like, well, a man is more dangerous than a bear because men are calculated and they stalk you. And okay. But would I rather run into a random man or any bear? From a man's perspective, obviously it's the only perspective I have, I'd rather run into a random man. Because like anything that we're saying, a bear mace, in this scenario, we aren't prepared for either. We're just running into a random thing. A person, a bear, and I'd rather a person any day.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on that. Now, there's a part 2 to this, friend.
Okay.
So this person who wrote the email says, some people are saying that this question is racist, which I don't think is racist at all. I think that they're saying it's racist because women are saying, well, that man could be a criminal, and then those people are saying, well, that's assuming that a criminal is a black person, so that makes it racist because you're saying the man would always be black in the person's mind when you ask him this question. I think is what she's saying.
I thought the racial part was like, would you rather run into a black person or a black bear? And that's
that's like a joke. That's like what was that, like a joke? A black person or a black bear? Either way, I don't see it as racist, and I don't think you should be feeling this is a controversial question, emailer, because I don't think it's very controversial, and I don't hear that question and think of race at all. I think of just man. It could be any man. That's my whole thing. Like, it could be any man, black, white, whatever. So anyway, so the part 2, she goes, second, I think if we want to bring race into this, we should ask this question. For black Americans, let's say you find yourself on the side of an isolated road with a flat tire and no spare. Your cell phone's dead. You're not familiar with this area. Let's say you're traveling. Along comes a car and you think you can flag them down. Would you prefer a white stranger or a black stranger? I think this is a better question because essentially we are talking about power imbalance, social dynamics, and the impact of personal experiences. And it wouldn't bother me personally if an overwhelming amount of black people said they would rather prefer a black stranger. One blessing of social media is the power of sharing perspective. Sorry if this is a shitty question, but if you think it's interesting and feel like diving into it, I would love to hear your opinions. Be safe and keep up the fine work. Thank you to person. They didn't write their name or they didn't say their name. So that's part 2 of the question is, for the I guess it's almost like taking it. This was a question that a lot of women were being asked about the man and the bear thing. This is asking black people, would you rather, if you're stuck on the side of the road and you're desperate and you need help, would you rather a car ride by with a stranger in it? Would you rather that stranger be black or white? Fran?
All right. It all depends on where I'm at. It depends on
what part of the country?
What part of the country or wherever I'm at, city, whatever, where I'm at. It depends on what do I have on. It depends on what car am I driving.
Why that part?
Because I think that, and I don't think this is racist me saying this. I think that if I'm in,
you think if you're dressed a little bit more
city
urban,
with a high crime rate or something like that, and I have a, I'm driving an S550 that's broke. I can't change it. I could be a lick. I could turn into a lick at that point.
If a car full of teens pulled up,
yeah. Like what I have on also, you know what I'm saying? Like that matters. So like a lot of factors go into what I choose, but if we just going to keep it just general, I would pick a
white human in the driver's seat, sure. Black person in the human seat.
I'll pick a black.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You would pick what?
Black. I'll trust a black.
Understandable. Person. I would agree, and this is my reasoning why, because they ask about the social factors and life experience, and I've grown up my whole life seeing all these examples of black people not being able to hail a cab. Obviously, this is kind of a dead stereotype because cabs are kind of obsolete. If I call an Uber and my Uber doesn't pick me up, I'm suing Uber.
Yeah.
If they look at you, they go, "Well, I didn't know you were black. You don't have an Avi for your account." That's racist as shit. But a cab being like, "Oh, I'm not going to slow down here. I'm going to speed up and slow down in front of that white man in the business suit up there," but not for you, black person wearing a backwards baseball hat. So for me, I go, I'm desperate. I need help. I don't. In this scenario, I guess is the privilege of a man. My scenario has nothing to do with my safety and fear of who pulls over. It's who will pull over. So it's funny where yours went to like protecting yourself and what you have on, and people might want to steal from you or whatever. Where mine goes, who will help me? Which I guess is also sad because I go, I would think I have a better chance of getting a black person to pull over for me than a white person.
Also, I think that I don't like how we judge or when we talk about conversations like this where like we go like, okay, well, we're men, we kind of don't have to fear about, our safety.
That's a blanket statement, obviously. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't agree with that because like, okay, well, if you get into a car with a guy who's 250 and it's like 6, I mean, like you're at a disadvantage. I don't care if you're a man or not.
Yeah.
And if they have weapons, you have nothing. At the least of nice, I mean, what do you go like, oh, well, I'm good, I can probably fight this guy. Like, no,
fair point.
That's not realistic. And I think a lot of guys shouldn't live their life going like, well, I'm not a woman, I'm a guy, so I shouldn't worry about my safety as much. Like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
No, that's a fair point. But to answer that person's question in their email, in this scenario, which I don't know if it's an interchangeable analogy or scenario as the man versus bear thing, but just to answer your question, because you asked it, I think I would prefer, again, to make the scenario clear to Fran too, one person in the driver's seat in a car by themselves, that person's driving past you while you're desperate, black or white. I would say black.
For sure.
Because I think I have, no matter what, because again, good points you brought up about where am I in the country? Whether I'm in Oregon, Virginia, Los Angeles, Detroit, I feel like my odds are better with a black person driving past me and sees me waving them down. I think they're more likely to pull over. Now, you make a good point about my safety, and maybe this person could be dangerous to me, and I shouldn't just think, well, I'm just thinking about how do I get off the side of this road. I should think about my safety as well. That's a good point. That black person could be dangerous to me as well. But I'm more so like, who will pull over and help me out while I'm stranded on the side of the road?
Also, this person's not a taxi cab. So I mean, like, if it's me, if somebody's trying to wave me down for my help, I'm like, no, you're sitting up front. I'm not letting you sit behind me. You're not getting in the back. For sure. Because this could just be
a trick.
This could be a whole trick. It
could be a ploy.
No, you get in the front. You get in the front.
No, that's a very good point. So, so I hope that answered that question. I like that. That's a little different than, a normal Tales from the Hood. So I enjoyed that email. Thank you to that person. I like that one. 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
10 out of 10. Thank you very much for switching up the vibes a little bit. I appreciate that. Now, friend, we're going to dive into this next email. Before we do, again, affirmativemurder@gmail.com. Tales from the Hood. Get those in. We'd love to hear from you guys. Whatever the scenarios, situations, or things you've experienced in your life, send them to us so we can exploit them for our own entertainment and the entertainment of the masses. But also, you're part of that masses too, because you come and you listen to yourself. So that's fun. Now, here we go. This one is Tales from the Hood, school shooting threat. So trigger warning to everybody out there. Dear Fran and Alvin, what up? My name is Mary, and please say it if you read this on the pod, because I will literally die. Mm-hmm. I'm a relatively new listener and managed to blow through all of your episodes in about a month. I absolutely adore damn, that's a lot of goddamn shit. Damn, Mary.
Salute.
Sure. That's shout out to Mary for sure. Rolling through 300 episodes of a pod in a month? You are a sicko. So anyway, I absolutely adore the podcast and both of you. Your perspective is so unique in the true crime community, and I love the way you tell the stories. Alvin, congrats on the baby announcement. Thank you very much. I know you're going to be such a great dad. Well, thank you so much, man. And Fran, you are an icon, and I love how you both bounce off of each other. No diddy.
Thank you.
Now that the gushing is out of the way, here's my crazy story of a school shooting threat I experienced. Trigger warning just in case. Let me set the scene for you. 2017, San Leandro High School. Freshman me is 14 years old. Awkward as fuck, baby-faced, sitting in Spanish class, bored out of my mind. My high school was split into two campuses. The main one, where most of the classes were, and a separate one where language and math classes were taught. I was at the separate campus when an announcement on the loudspeaker blared out to the entire campus that the school was on lockdown because of a school shooting threat. Someone wrote on a wall that they were going to shoot up the school that day at noon. We were all told to get on the ground, get under our desks, and avoid the windows. My teacher locked the door, and we were stuck there for hours. The cops were called, and I don't know all the details.
Affirmative Murder is brought to you by Kickoff. Have you ever gone up to a vending machine and seen a Rice Krispie treat hanging by the edge of its life? And you know that if you buy the Rice Krispie treat behind that, you'll have become a vending machine master, pulling off the 2-for-1 special, the ultimate beating of the system. That is until Kickoff came into existence. When it comes time to buy a home, a car, or find a new apartment, a bad credit score can be a big roadblock. But Kickoff found a way to beat the system with a fast and easy way to build credit up safely each month. Sign up for a monthly plan in minutes and start building credit right away for as low as $5. Listen, folks, credit is complicated, but one thing I know for sure about it is that a good score is necessary in life. You can use AutoPay to build your credit while you sleep and never have to worry about missing a payment. So if your credit score could use a little TLC, which whose couldn't these days, join the over 1 million people who are building their credit with Kickoff right now. Get your first month for $1 off at getkickoff.com/AMP today. That's Kickoff at getkickoff.com/AM as in, man, my credit's fantastic. P. This special offer applies to new Kickoff Premium customers for their first month only and is subject to approval and only available on getkickoff.com/AMP. Terms of offer are subject to change.
But the threat never happened, so that's good, I guess. I remember asking my teacher what we would do if we had to use the bathroom, and she promptly responded that there was a bucket. Needless to say, no one had to go potty that day. After a while, all the kids...
A bucket?
Yeah, a bucket.
So you can't leave the room?
No, you can't leave the room. You go to the back and go to the supply closet and drop a deuce, drop a one, whatever you got to do, and everyone will smell your smelly shit. That'll be that scene from Superbad where he goes, "Why don't you go piss your pants again?" He goes, "That was like 8 years ago, asshole." And he goes, "People don't forget." Imagine being the kid during the school shooting drill that shit in the closet and everybody smelled how mad it was.
Yeah, it would have been me. I definitely would. I'm going to go because my nerves have been going crazy.
Yeah, bubble guts. The bubble guts start coming through.
I got dibs.
Yeah. I'll get first on the bucket. I tell you what, if you're the first to use the bucket, that's your bucket now.
Yeah.
Nobody's who's and you deuce in it. Maybe a couple people might pee in it. But you deuce in the bucket, that's Fran's bucket.
Deuce in the bucket, that's my bucket.
That's Fran's bucket now. You're trying to muffle it with like playing music from your phone.
Yeah.
Nah, people will never forget that. Graduation, 20 years from now.
I don't give a damn.
Remember that?
I don't care.
It's at your 10-year reunion. It's like, good to see you, man. Remember that? Hey, that's Fran. Remember you shit in the closet? That's shit bucket Fran.
Yeah. Your girl was in there with me. They were like, oh,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, you win. What, smelling your shit? Yeah, your girl was in there playing 7 minutes and Chevin. That's shit heaven. So a bucket. And so nobody used the bucket. After a while, all the kids just started watching TV on their phones and school was canceled for the rest of the day. My mom picked me up and was freaked the fuck out, of course.
Why was school canceled?
Because there was the trauma of like thinking there was a school shooting threat.
Ain't that much trauma. You watch TV? I mean, give me the fuck out of here.
Kids, all these kids are, iPad kids, and they're all,
There ain't no trauma.
They don't know how to fucking just sit in the silence for a bit. So, they got to pull up Rick and Morty.
That don't sound like trauma.
So
sure.
I told her that I was fine and to chill. But thinking back on it, it was much scarier than I had originally thought. Imagine if something had actually happened. It turns my stomach just to think about it. Anyways, that's my tale. I have some gnarly ghost stories if you want me to send those in too. Much love from California. Keep doing what you guys do because you're great at it. Shout out to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I fully empathize with you. I think that the nerves of not, having to cut all the lights off, go into the desk, lock the. This is the reality for a lot of these kids. Our listener here was 17 years old in 2017 or 2019.
That wasn't that long.
That wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was. Oh yeah, in 2017 they were 17. We were years removed from high school. This was not our experience. I think we might have had one shooting drill in my senior year of high school where it was like a new thing that they were trying. It wasn't due to any kind of thing that had happened. It just was like, now how we do fire drills and all those things, now we're going to implement a school shooting drill for like a minute. You know how they cut the lights off, get under your desk, and we're going to just be quiet for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
These kids really have to do these drills. This seems to be just the reality of the world we live in. They need to know what to do if this is to happen. So that's scary that you get that call and they've probably practiced these school shooting drills before. It's probably become normal for them. And now it's like, hey, this is not a drill.
We talked about this maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. It's been so many goddamn school shootings. I'm sure we have talked about it.
I mean, like, the reason why I said it because, like, what kids don't understand. Well, she's 17, but I'm talking about when you got babies. I'm talking about I have an 8-year-old. When they're like, oh yeah, we do a drill, but I don't kind of understand why we do the drill. Right. I don't get it. It's like, that's the hard part. That's the scary part. For
sure. Now imagine the day comes where the threat comes in. Now, thankfully, nothing happened with this kid at this school. Now an adult, but this person, a listener. But it wasn't a drill. Thankfully, the threat turned out to not be real, but it was a real threat. So I feel for them. That's not fun to feel that. So shout out to them. Thank you for sending that in. That bubble gutness, I'm sure it was very real until it slowly, after like an hour or two, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, well, let me go ahead and pull up these old episodes of Vampire Diaries if we're going to be just sitting here. Put my AirPods in and go ahead and, get out of my head a bit.
AirPods in high school don't even sound right to me.
Right? Oh, imagine if we had AirPods, bro. The things I had to do trying to run the wire through my headphones and wrap them around the back of my neck and up the top of my ear and then put a beanie on. It was a bunch of dumb, goofy shit I was doing to try to lift.
It was. That's not dumb goofy though. That's kind of that was that was a trick. That's what it was.
There was no other options.
Talk about dumb and goofy like we had some other options.
Why didn't you just put your wireless AirPods in? That's what the kids would say now. Wait, so your AirPods had wires? Like, first of all, they're not all things are AirPods. For one, they were headphones.
We didn't have that.
And yeah, they had wires. There was no other thing.
And it be on the phone. I'm sure like a lot of these kids have AirPods and like are like on the phone.
Like talking to people?
Talking to like their girlfriend that's like down the hall. I'm sure that's a thing, right?
Just caking in the middle of the day.
Just caking all day long is on the phone.
I mean,
I'm sure that's a thing.
No, these kids are living different, man. You can just Google the answers to your test. My phone was fine.
Did you see iOS? I'm sorry, but did you see iOS 18?
No, I didn't see iOS 18.
Bro, you can go in the notes and put in a fucking mathematician type of high level equation and it'll solve it just like that. Just put in your notes and then put the equal sign and it just.
We're doomed, bro.
We're doomed. I mean, the brain.
A degree is going to mean nothing.
It's insane.
Like a high school diploma it probably means kind of nothing now, but really it means nothing if you don't need to know anything.
Yeah, I don't think that high school diploma doesn't mean. Obviously, it shows that you graduated high school.
Which doesn't really. It's not really a job requirement.
It says it asks you, do you have a high school? But I've never done an interview where it was like, okay, you bring your high school diploma. Yeah. Never, ever. Yeah.
It's like either you went to college or we don't care. Like
we don't care. Like we don't care.
I guess that's something for you to say in your family. I guess I think that was an accomplishment that mattered more like 20 years ago. You're going up against people that have associate's degrees. That have 20 years of experience at McDonald's.
And then those people
20 years ago.
And then those people get what? Overqualified. They're like, oh, you overqualified. You can't work here.
So you should find a person who is their greatest accomplishment is they graduate from high school and then they'll be the manager of the McDonald's.
No, I'm just saying, don't shit on people who.
Listen, if anybody's listening to this and you want to manage a McDonald's and that is.
Why are you still on McDonald's, man? I'm talking about high school diploma. I'm saying don't shit on people who.
You said, what if.
I don't need to go to college. I don't need to go to college and be in debt for. For what?
I think.
For what? To not get a job? To be overqualified? For what?
Hey, man, listen. You don't need to be on your soapbox with me, brother.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So.
Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying.
I'm not. You're getting mad at me.
Hey, I'm not. Talk to me like that. Put your serial killer hat on. You got a serial killer hat on. Where you get that hat from?
This is an LA Dodgers hat. This is a serial killer hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. That's the one you wear low with your jacket on, the collar up top with your sunglasses on. That's the type of hat you have on. Is it corduroy? That's a corduroy hat.
No, it's suede.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you're just like the Dukes of Hazzard. So you're going for a real
middle
American
movie,
thing.
I like that movie.
You don't know how to fix a car. You got all this truck driver hat, brand shirt on.
How do you know I know how to change your oil. You know how to change oil in the car? No.
I don't know how to change your oil, no.
Do you? No, you don't. Why? Because you drive a Tesla?
I don't drive a Tesla. But my car does take European oil. So the Tales from the Hood, this one says, you can't be friends with everyone. Before we get out of here, this one's a little bit longer, so this will be the last one. AffirmativeMurder@gmail.com. Get those emails, and we want to hear from you guys, all the stories, ghost stories, whatever you got. Send them in. Let's party. Now, let's get to it. This email says, hi, Alvin and Fran. I'm about to discuss an active case, so I would prefer that you don't share my name. I am a late comer to the pod, coming over from the Morbid collab. I just recently got caught up. I really enjoy the pod and commend both of you for your dedication to telling stories that are often overlooked in the true crime space. Now to the story. I am now a paralegal, but at the time of this event, I was working as a bartender. The date was New Year's Eve 2023, and I was just getting off a 12-hour double at 10 p.m. I was living in a house with my sister and our close friend at the time. For New Year's Eve, we had planned a low-key night between our friend group of 4 women that had lasted 2 years up to this point, which I guess is a commendment, something to commend for women, I guess, is what. Yeah, but men, women, all people, sometimes friend groups don't last and there's drama and emotions and all kind of stuff. But in this situation, I'm wondering why they put that this group had lasted 2 years up to the point. Maybe I was overthinking it, and they were just saying we met 2 years ago and formed the friendship group, and we've been friends for 2 years. Nothing about drama or anything like that. But anyway, I will proceed.
But they're not friends anymore.
I don't know. We will up to this point they had been a friend group of 4 for 2 years. So our listener is writing in and saying they just got off a long night, a long shift, a double at the bar, and had plans to go hang out with some friends. We had set up a secret Santa and were exchanging gifts that night. Since I was working late and had a shift the next morning, that was fine by me. One of my friends was coming over and was also 5 months pregnant at the time. This whole thing happened because of the fourth friend coming over, not the pregnant friend or my sister or our roommate. Let's call her O. This will be the fourth friend. I would add a backstory of the friendship with O, but it would make this story too long. Let's just say we were very close friends. I think I know what you're alluding to. We went on multiple vacations together and shared a lot of experiences up to this point. I was aware that O had a past with drug abuse and alcoholism. She seemed to be working on this, but I was aware that she had relapsed with drinking. I had supported her through rehab and a stay at a mental health facility prior to this point. The night of New Year's Eve, I got off work and headed home expecting to meet my other two friends at my house with my sister and roommate to exchange our gifts and relax after a long day working at the bar, that double that they mentioned. As I walked in my house, I hear my roommate yelling at O. At first, I was not sure about what. Then I hear O reply, "Can you please just go check my car? I think I hit something and my airbag went off, but I can't tell if this is real life." She was slurring her words and obviously fucked up off something. What possessed her to get in a car in that state puzzled me. I was headed home at the same time she was driving, and if she was too drunk or off drugs like it seemed like she was, I would have just picked her up. The selfishness of getting behind the wheel of a car when you can't even distinguish reality makes me sick. Basically, she hit something and continued driving away after her airbag deployed, all the way to my house. That's a hit and run.
Yeah.
I now work in personal...
Don't come here.
Huh?
Don't come here.
Yeah, don't come to my house when you're in the middle of a crime. For Secret Santa, you're ruining Secret Santa? Coming here talking about you hit something you don't know what? This is too intense. I now work in personal injury, and I now know that you have to hit something incredibly hard for an airbag to deploy. Also, knowing I was driving at the same time, that it could have been me that she hit or literally any other person on the road. My sister went out to check the car, and my roommate is yelling at her, telling her that she needs to get the fuck out of our house with all this BS. Shout out to your friend or your roommate. I'm sorry. My roommate that has a family member that passed away because of a drunk driver. So this has really triggered her. O calls whoever she was with prior to this to come to get her from their apartment. Mm-hmm. As she's making this call, my roommate is still very much so upset and yelling in the background that she needs to leave. My pregnant friend got overwhelmed and luckily took herself downstairs and shut the door. They wrote shit the door, but I was like, they shit the door, but I fixed it on the fly and then called it out. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, we are all just waiting now for O to leave because none of us are having this shit. Her actions were reckless and selfish. We let her wait in the house, which is more than generous, but it was January in the Midwest, so it was cold and she was my friend.
Yeah.
At this point, my brain is just in shock, having difficulty processing the chaos after a long service industry shift. Remember that double, friend. This is a 12-hour day. I come home to relax and have some Secret Santa time, and you're at my house with the bullshit?
Yeah.
Unacceptable. As we are mid-conversation with O, trying to understand why she did that and what she was even on, her friend busts in our door. I think it was accidentally left unlocked in the chaos.
Oh.
This bitch comes in yelling, "Who the fuck was yelling at her?" My roommate steps up to her and said it was her, and how O is basically an idiot and deserves it. The girl goes on and on about how she's going to beat my roommate's ass and all this other stuff. I don't remember who threw the first punch, but all of a sudden my roommate has the friend by her hair rocking her shit. O is trying to get between them. I got up immediately, and my first thought is, get this bitch out of my house. So I'm grabbing her, trying to pull her out the door. Mm-hmm. Apparently, my sister got up and started hitting her with a vase.
A vase? Damn.
We got her out, and she went to her car and got another person who started to run up with a bat. We fortunately got to the door and closed it and locked it as they shattered our glass screen door. After they started to run back to their car, I ran out on the phone with 911 and called and read their license plates. They were peeling out because the road was icy. It was January. I spent my New Year's cleaning up glass and blood out of my house with 2 police officers as the ball dropped. Losing a friend this way was shocking and devastating, But sometimes when you don't listen to the universe, she's going to give you one big bitch slap to wake you up. Or in this case, a tweaker busting through your front door. I am so glad my pregnant friend was in a safe spot and the bitch with the bat couldn't get into our house. One of the things that just really tells you the type of person O is, she grabbed her gift that she bought for exchange after the other two left and tried to walk off before the police arrived. She immediately blocked every one of us and gave no information to the police when they found her walking the street down from our house. To claim to not know if you got hit by an airbag, but to have the wherewithal to grab your gift and block everyone shows her true colors. Grabbing your gift is so salty. Like, man, nobody.
Yeah.
Guess what? Christmas is canceled. Moral of the story is be careful with your friends. Alcoholism and drug abuse is a hell of a disease. We never got justice for this as the police couldn't locate the woman who broke into my house. If you read this on the pod, I will most definitely scream. I hope it isn't too long and makes sense. Thank you again for your pod. It has kept me busy at my boring desk job as a paralegal. I can't wait to tune in weekly for new episodes. Blessings. I think that was a fantastic email. I fully understood everything, Fran, right? I mean, you were following along, right? It's juicy, gossipy, crazy story night fight. Nothing. It wasn't hard to follow at all. I think that was a fantastic.
It was, and I'm glad nobody got like
seriously hurt.
Nobody was killed.
Yeah. It was just messy. This is just Bad Girls Club stuff.
Yes. But to take a gift to be like, that's something I would do. I would like, fuck
you know what? Guess what? I don't give a fuck who Secret Santa had my gift. You don't get mine.
You ain't getting
this. Secret Santa will be missing this iPod Nano this year. And I grab it and I walk out. Fran, crazy run of stories. Again, I like the man bear email. I like the middle one about the school shooting threat. And this, to follow things up with this last email, that listener was fantastic email, well written and a wild ride. New Year's Eve is always full of crazy things and wild events. You know, we've been in a couple of fun, wild New Year's. One time, a friend of mine threw up all over his own car. And, you know, we almost got in a fight at a hot dog stand. These are the kind of things that New Year's is almost like it's Mercury in retrograde, a full moon, and New Year's. These are like the holy trinity of this night could go either way. This could be a crazy night. You know, sometimes when Mercury is in retrograde, anything can happen. On New Year's, anything can happen. It could be the best night of your life. It could be the worst night of your life. But Fran, before we get out of here, again, affirmativemurder@gmail.com, TFTH, get those emails in. Fran, what was your lesson that you learned this episode?
If you're committing a crime of any sort, could be hit and run, it could be robbery, bank robbery, murder, could be anything. I would suggest don't drive to your friend's house.
Go somewhere else.
Take that shit somewhere else.
Yeah. Don't come to the Christmas party.
Don't come to the Christmas party with your Secret Santa gift. Like nothing happened. Like you didn't just commit a crime on your way here.
Yeah, don't use the Secret Santa party as the alibi. Like, no, I was here all night, right, guys? Yeah. Your bumper's hanging off, your airbags deployed, you got blood on your forehead.
Right.
It's like, no, you weren't. And if the police come here, I'm gonna tell them that you showed up like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, listen, affirmativemurder@gmail.com. Get those emails in. This has been another Tales from the Hood mini-sode. And we'll see you guys next time.